Welcome to the next video in the evolution series. This video will be looking at Evolution of Australian Biota dot points 8.5.31, distinguish between the processes of meiosis and mitosis in terms of the daughter cells produced, and 8.5.3a, analyze information from secondary sources to tabulate the differences that distinguish the processes of mitosis and meiosis. So up until now, we've already had a look at the process of mitosis. So hopefully this is just a little bit of revision, and we know that mitosis is used for growth. So obviously when we get bigger, an organism needs to produce more cells. We need it for repair, replacement, and some organisms use mitosis as a form of asexual reproduction. So in terms of the dot point, we need to have a look at the number of daughter cells present and what type. So basically a little bit of information about them. So as we know, mitosis is the process of cellular division that creates two genetically identical cells through the processes of prophase, metaphase, anaphase, telophase, and then lastly, during the process of cytokinesis, the cell finally splits into two, and we have two cells that are identical to each other and identical to our original parent cell. So in a human, for example, all normal cells undergo the process of mitosis. They start with 46 chromosomes. During the process of mitosis, those chromosomes double. In metaphase, they line up along the middle of the cell. Anaphase, we then have half of them split to either end of the cell. Telophase, we start to have that cleavage of the cell membrane into the formation of two daughter cells. And then cytokinesis is that final splitting of the cytoplasm and breaking off of the cell membrane to form two completely identical cells, both with 46 chromosomes. So if we have a look at meiosis, meiosis is the process that produces sex cells, which are scientifically referred to as our gametes. So in humans, males produce sperm by the process of meiosis, and females produce eggs or ova. Sometimes they may be referred to, obviously, in our ovaries. In plants, the sex cells are referred to as pollen from the males and again ova in the females. So meiosis is a little bit more complex than mitosis. So during the process of meiosis, we have two stages of cellular division. So we have the first stage is almost identical or basically identical to mitosis. However, we then have a second stage where metaphase 2, where the chromosomes line up in the middle again, anaphase 2, where they then split, and telophase 2, we end up with 4 daughter cells. So we needed to distinguish between the processes and have a look at the differences in the daughter cells that are created. So in mitosis, we create 2 genetically identical cells. In meiosis, we create 4 genetically different cells. So the cells are different to each other and different to the original parent cell. So in humans, we would start off with 46 chromosomes in the parent cell. Due to the process of double division, we then end up with 23 chromosomes in each. So when the sperm and the egg cell come together during the process of fertilization, which we'll be looking at a little bit later, we then restore that number of 46. So or inverted commas, normal organism is able to be produced. So this little video here shows the processes of mitosis and meiosis side by side. So just watch and listen, and hopefully it'll make a little bit more sense.
Prior to meiosis or mitosis, DNA replication occurs. In both meiosis and mitosis, the nuclear membrane breaks down as the DNA organizes into chromosomes. In meiosis, chromosome pairs come together, or synapse, and crossing over occurs, resulting in mixing of the genetic information between the chromosome pairs. The paired chromosomes then align along the central plate of the cell and subsequently separate, one traveling to each end of the cell. In meiosis, a second division sequence occurs, resulting in 4 cells with half the number of chromosomes. Mitosis involves a single division sequence, resulting in 2 cells with no net change in the number of chromosomes.
Okay, so as we can see here in that final image, we end up in meiosis with 4 cells that are completely different to one another. And in mitosis, we end up, with 2 cells that are genetically identical to one another. So this table here is what we need for 8.5.3a. So to analyze information, to tabulate the differences that distinguish between the processes of mitosis and meiosis. So in the process of mitosis, we start off with one parent cell. We also start off with one parent cell in meiosis. With our parent cells, if they are human cells, we would start off with 46 chromosomes in both. So the 2 cells that begin the process are exactly the same. So are the parent cells considered to be haploid or diploid? Now remember, we have double the number of chromosomes, so we have 2 pairs of 23 chromosomes in our parent cells, so they're considered to be diploid. So di meaning 2, ploid is chromosomes. So what cells undergo the process of mitosis? So our body cells. So all the different cells in our body that make up all the different tissues, organs, systems, etc. undergo mitosis, where only our sex cells undergo the process of meiosis to create the gametes. So testes in males and ovaries in females. In the process of mitosis, we only have one cell division taking place, whereas in meiosis, we have that double division in order to split from our 46 chromosomes to 23. In mitosis, we produce 2 daughter cells, whereas meiosis results in 4 daughter cells. The number of chromosomes in the daughter cells that are produced in mitosis is 46, so exactly the same as our parent cell, whereas in meiosis, that is halved to 23. In mitosis, the daughter cells are genetically identical to the parent, whereas in meiosis, all 4 of the cells that are produced are genetically different to each other and genetically different to the parent cells. So are the daughter cells haploid or diploid? So again, in mitosis, we end up with 46 chromosomes, 2 pairs of the 23 chromosomes, so they are referred to as diploid, whereas in meiosis, we end up with haploid cells because we now have half the original number of chromosomes being 23. And as I said, when the egg and the sperm come together during fertilization, we restore that number to 46 and normal development is able to take place. And that brings us to the end of this video. So thank you for watching.